The biggest race of 2022 is here as we get set for the Petronas Grand Prix in Malaysia, with Pecco Bagnaia trying to end Ducati's 15-year wait for a second MotoGP title. Nerves of steel needed in sizzling conditions. It's time to seize the moment in Sepang. It's time to race in MotoGP. .54 kilometres this Sepang International Circuit. Pecco Bagnaia himself, the winner of the 2018 Moto2 title. Can he be the 15th world champion crowned here at this magnificent venue? Our first race here back in 1999. 15 corners, 10 right, 5 left. The all-time lap record demolished by Jorge Martin on his way to pole position yesterday with the first ever sub 158 lap we've seen. This was a key move. Turn 15, the overtaking hotspot, the big bump between Miller and Rins. Coming up next then in MotoGP, Jorge Martin is the qualifying king again as a record-breaking lap powers the Pramac Ducati star to an 8th MotoGP pole. Will Sepang end with a bang for Pecco Bagnaia and Ducati as the Italian aims for the title from 9th? Can Aleix Espargaro still be vying for a shot title victory in Valencia as the Aprilia captain heads row 4? And down but not out, reigning world champion Fabio Quartararo is up for the fight as he tries to remain on the throne from 12th. Good afternoon then, and welcome back to the Petronas Grand Prix of Malaysia. It's a warm welcome to you all around the world tuning in for the Sepang International Circuit ahead of the biggest, the most important race of the season so far in MotoGP. The main event coming up shortly. It's the big one for Pecco Bagnaia and Ducati as they try and end a 15-year wait. 2007, the 23rd of September that year, the Aussie legend Casey Stoner won Ducati's one and only MotoGP world title. Fast forward 15 years and 1 month to October the 23rd, 2022. And they have their first match point. 14 points clear is the Ducati Lenovo star ahead of reigning world champion Fabio Quartararo. Aleix Espargaro still in with a shout of a shock win for the factory Aprilia team. He's third in the standings, 27 adrift of Bagnaia, but it's been a tough weekend here in Sepang so far for the Aprilia man. It's very great to see the grandstands packed to the rafters. We've missed being in this part of the world, haven't we? Our first Malaysian Grand Prix since 2019, our 30th Malaysian Grand Prix. We first came to this wonderful country back in 1991 at Shah Alam. The atmosphere is building and the tension is building as well as this man embraces his mother there, Stefania Azzori. There is his brother as well, shortly a few months ago, Filippo Bagnaia. There is his father, Pietro Bagnaia, as well, of course. His sister, Carola, his girlfriend, Demetria Castignini. They are all here. They've all made the long trip to be at this man's side for the most important 20 laps not just of his season, not just of his career, but of his entire life. Everything that this young man has done since he first threw a leg over a motorcycle 20 years ago has been geared towards this very moment. Is it destiny? Is it written in the stars that Pecco Bagnaia today will be crowned 2022 MotoGP World Champion?
A pensive Pecco. If anything, his girlfriend Dimizia has looked much more nervous than he has this weekend. No little wink to the camera from Fabio Quartararo, who's trying to stay cool. He's kind of masking the pain he must be in at the moment, having broken the middle finger on his left hand yesterday in a crash at turn 8 in free practice for a corner that caught out all three of our chief title contenders. Quartararo, over and above his injury, has a huge mountain to climb on the grid. Qualifying did not go his way at all. A huge moment on the front end in turn 8 on his final lap of Q2 means that the reigning champion starts 12th, one row behind his main rival Bagnaia. Will Quartararo still be wearing the crown in around an hour and a half's time?
Cannot imagine what the pressure and tension is like down in pit lane. It's pretty tense in the commentary box, I can tell you, in the company of Matt Burt, Lewis Sotheby and Simon Crafar down in pit lane. There is medical director info after that crash yesterday at turn 8. A small fracture to the middle finger of the left hand for Fabio Quartararo. Will his grip on this year's MotoGP World Championship finally be relinquished? There he is then on the famous MotoGP Champions Tower. Fabio Quartararo was the world champ 12 months ago in 2021. Will he still have a chance of retaining that title when we move to Valencia in 2 weeks' time, or is all the glory going back to Bologna for the first time since '07?
Of course, 4 riders mathematically could still win the 2022 World Championship. It's likely to be a straight shootout between Pecco Bagnaia and Fabio Quartararo, but of course Aleix Espargaro comes into this penultimate race of the season with Aprilia still in the mix. He is 27 points here adrift of Pecco Bagnaia in the chase for the World Championship. It has not been a good weekend at this stage for Aleix Espargaro, but that is the scenario facing him. He must claim 3 points back or more than Pecco Bagnaia and avoid losing 12 to Fabio Quartararo to ensure that Aprilia's captain still has a chance of being crowned king of MotoGP in 2 weeks' time. Aleix Espargaro, he starts between Bagnaia and Quartararo on the grid. He lines up in 10th.
An amazing Q2 session here in Malaysia yesterday. The first sub-158 lap in history set here around this Sepang International Circuit. Jorge Martin's blistering pace, nearly half a second clear of Enea Bastianini on the front row. Heroics and more magic from Marc Marquez having come through Q1. He's back on that front row, and drama for all of our title contenders with our top qualifier of our top 3 men, Pecco Bagnaia in 9th place. They shared 4 crashes between them last weekend. Davide Tardozzi, Ducati Lenovo team manager, looking at the moment the epitome of cool and calm, but I don't think that'll be the case in about 28 minutes time when it'll be lights out for Ducati's most significant Grand Prix since that Japanese Grand Prix at Motegi 15 years ago when Casey Stoner took the race win. Lynn Jarvis also looking relaxed. I guess the pressure not really on Yamaha. They've got nothing to lose now. That's what Fabio Quartararo said yesterday. There's only one strategy. There's only one tactic. He's got to go for it, ride his heart out, ride on the absolute limit and see where that takes him. What else can he do? You know that Fabio Quartararo, if he does lose the MotoGP World Championship here in Malaysia today, well, that young man on your screens, he is going to go down fighting.
No question about that. Of course, the front row of the grid largely away from the World Championship battle, although Enea Bastianini in second is still on the fringes of the World Championship battle, but Jorge Martin has 0 interest in the title chase. He says, well, that's not really my problem. He starts from pole position, as Matt mentioned, the fastest ever 2-wheel lap of Sepang, and he took pole position by a country mile in truth yesterday. 4.5 tenths of a second clear of Enea Bastianini. There is no thoughts in Jorge Martin's mind other than going for victory.
Pecco Bagnaia then gets himself set. Gigi Dall'Igna, the Ducati Corsa general manager, That man on your picture there right now was hired, headhunted by Ducati, poached by them from Aprilia at the end of 2013 to steer them back to the glory days in MotoGP. It's taken 8 long years, at times 8 difficult years. There's been some tough periods, disasters behind the scenes is how Davide Tardozzi described the Borgo Panigale factory when Deligne took over. He has been the glue that's gelled this project together, and he stands on the very day to accomplish the mission that he was hired for. What a damn prospect as well for Gigi Deligne, and don't discount that man.
Yeah.
And now Bastianini Lewis, we know that his great late race prowess will come to the fore in these hot conditions in Malaysia. I would not be surprised, hardly sticking my neck on the line here though, if Bastianini does not take the win here today. He's looked great all weekend. And
Bastianini, of course, is still hoping that he will be the man to end Ducati's 15-year wait for a Riders' Championship. Really, to keep his hopes alive to Valencia, he has to win this Grand Prix, really. In all probability, a 42-point deficit to Pecco Bagnaia, so he needs to gain 18 points on Pecco here this afternoon to keep his hopes alive to Valencia, which obviously needs some misfortune to befall this man in the World Championship. The pit lane is open then, and Pecco Bagnaia stepping on to his factory Ducati. The next time he steps off that bike, of course, will be on the grid, and then it will be the biggest 20 laps of his life and potentially the biggest prize in two-wheel motorsport awaiting him at the end of 20 laps of this Grand Prix.
And this will be a relief now for Pecco Bagnaia. All the distractions, all the talk about being crowned world champion here this weekend. Sat on top of that motorcycle, will probably be where he's at his happiest now. He can try and block it all out, get himself in the zone. As you mentioned, he's worked his entire life to put himself in this position. He's not going to want to blow it now. He said today is all about being intelligent, being smart, but above all else, not making any mistakes. And let's not forget, Pecco Bagnaia has had his fair share of blunders so far this year. 5 DNFs have blotted his copybook. This title chase might have been over a long time ago had Pecco Bagnaia not chewed dirt on 5 occasions so far this season. The Michelin tire occasion.